All right, so there are different menu here. So first of all, let me explain what this font menu is. Now, this font menu is actually showing you different fonts that your text can actually show in, or your text can actually be displayed on the screen. Now, for example, you can see the system font here is actually selected. We can change the font. What I mean by changing the font is changing the text style. It's just like different handwritings. We have people with different handwriting. So this is more like a computer kind of collection of different handwritings that we can be able to put our text in for our text to show on the screen. So we have different handwritings here or different fonts, which is the standard way we call them. So we have the luxury, we have Rubik. So if I should choose any of this font, just what is going to happen to our text on the screen. So if I click on this handwriting, you can see I've changed the font to this. If I click on another one, you can see I've changed the font to this. Remember, your data connection must be on because Capcut doesn't work without data connection. Your data connection must be on always while you're editing. So I can choose any other one. So they have different fonts you can actually choose from. That's the beauty and that's the beautiful thing about Capcut video editing app. So you can choose different fonts, any type of fonts you want to go with. So for me, I think I actually like this Montserrat, this one over here. So I think I'm going to go with this for my font. So I've added the font here. Now what we need to do, let's go over to the next menu, which is the style menu. And if I click on the style menu, remember this is the font menu, we selected our font, then this is the style menu. And what we have to do on this style menu is just to actually change, excuse me, to actually change our text color and the you can actually change the text color, change the text pattern, and maybe add a background or stroke to our text. Now let me explain what that is. Let me show you what that is. So we've actually selected the font and we can change how the style of this text is. For example, if I click on this first one here, which is this sorry, the second one, you can see it has changed the color and also given the text a little bit of a stroke. What we call stroke is the white outer line, is the white line rather on top of or outside the text. If I click on this now, you're going to see it has a black stroke on the yellow text. If I click on this, you can see that this has a white stroke on a red text. So these are different ways you can actually change your text in the CapCut. Now, this is another styling format. Now you've seen so many videos that has text like this placed on a background, either a white background or a yellow background or whatever thing you want to place it on. So you can actually change it. If I change this, you can see. So CapCut has a whole lot of text styling. So you can style your text in any way you want or any way you like. That's the beauty about CapCut. For me, I'm going to go with the first one. Just want to make my text very plain and simple. Then if you go down, you're going to see we have some other options here. So we have, first of all, we have the color. Now you can choose whatever color you want your text to be in. You can choose orange, you can choose blue, you can choose purple, whatever. You just have a list, so many colors you can choose from, a combination of colors you can choose from. Now you can actually, if you're not finding your color here, and you're the kind of person that like choosing a color that's kind of abstract, now you can click on this color palette here. This color palette, if you tap on it, it's going to bring out a color wheel or a color palette rather, and you can then select whatever color you need. So I can choose to select like this. I can choose to select white. I can choose to select ash. If I move it to the green aspect, you can choose to select the green. If I move this wheel to the blue aspect, I can choose to select blue. So whatever thing you want to select, you can select with your color palette. And once you're done, you click on this OK here or the good icon. Then the next thing, for me, I just like my text to be on white. I don't want to add any of those things. Then the next thing I want to explain is the size. Now you can increase the size here from this type. So you can see I can increase the font size, I can reduce it, you can increase it, you can reduce it. So this is actually how to add. Then the opacity too. What I mean by opacity is how you want your text to show. If you want it to be faint like this, you can see this is also giving us another new style. If you want it to be bold like this. So this is everything about the style palette. So over to the effect menu. Now, if I click on the effects panel, it's going to bring up so many effects that you can choose from. So you can see we have the trending, we have the basic, we have the luminance. This is also like a sub menu that you can choose from. Now, this is just basically how to stylize your text, how to create different effects. So if I click on this, it's going to change. It's going to change the text. So you can just play around with any of this, depending on what the style you like or what you want your text to look like. If you click on, remember, if you click on any one, it's going to change it to that one. Then if you don't want any of the effect to show, you can click on this one here. If you click on this, it's going to put back everything to normal, to neutral rather. If I click on it, it's going to remove the text. This means neutral. You don't want any of these effects to apply to your text. So you can choose any one. If I go back to the basic effect, so you can choose any effect for your text. So you can see how the text is looking like. Remember, you must have your data connection on. So you can choose any type of effect for your text. So there are actually cool effects you can use for your video. So for me, I think I'll go with this one for my effect. This one is actually okay. So you can choose any of them. This is just a list of different effects you can use for your video. So the next is the animation panel. Now this is the major thing now. Now if I click on this animation panel, this animation panel is actually how you want it's just like the transition we added for the video. Remember in our transition I was showing you, let me go back a little bit. In our transition I was showing you different ways you want your video to show. So for example, if I play this video, you're going to move up, you see the transition, another one. So you can see this is transition for the video. Now we want to show you a transition. I want to show you a transition for text. Now this animation rather is actually how you want your text to come in and how you want your text to leave the scene. What I mean by that, if I play this video, you can see that the text is just coming up just like that, very boring, and it's leaving just like that. Let me take this a little bit further so that you understand. So, all right, let me place it here. Remember, if you want to move your text, you can just hold and move it anywhere you want, drop it, just like your video. Click on it, hold it, move it anywhere you want it. Maybe you want it to start from the beginning of the video, you can put it here. From the beginning of the video, you can put it here, place it here. If you don't want to start from the beginning, you can place it somewhere here. So you're going to play the video first of all before it brings in your text. So what I'm showing you is this. Now let me place my video here. Now the text is just coming up. Let me take it a little bit back, a little bit back. All right. So let me zoom in. Okay. Let me take this. All right. It's fine like this. So what I want to show you is this. Now if you play this video, the text is just coming in like that and it's leaving the scene just like that. Now what the animation does is going to add a transition or animation, as some may call it, on your text. So let me click on this twice and go back to our animation panel. All right, now back to our animation panel. Now we have different animation. We have the in, we have the out, and we have the loop animation. Now let me show you what the in looks like. Now if I click on this in, okay, let me choose the throughout animation. So it's going to show you how your text is going to come in. Do you see that? So you're going to show you how your text is going to come into the scene. If I click on another effect, let's click on this zoom out. So this is how our text is going to come in into the scene. So you can choose anyone. Have the bounce. So you can see we have the glitch. So there are tons and tons of animation you can use for your text. You can see that we have the type 1. Then we also have the fade in. Now the fade in now this button here, let me explain what this is now. This button here actually means how long you want your effect to show, to come up, how long you want your effect to come up. Now either you can increase the time for your effect or you can reduce the time for your effect. So if I take this down, it's going to very quick. You can see that very quick. But if I increase this, the timing is going to be very long. You can see that if I take this further, the timing is going to be very long for the text to come into the scene. So this actually has to increase or reduce your time for your. All right, the next step. So I'm going to take this down a little bit. We don't need too much of it. Let me take it down to 1.0 is fine. 1.0 is fine. So this is how we want our text to come into our scene. So let me click on this on OK first, so you can see how it's going to work. Remember, while we were playing this thing before earlier, the text was just coming in straight up, but now it's coming in smoothly and nicely. So if I play this, you can see how the text came in. Now the text now going out is kind of harsh, so we're going to add another animation at this end point here on the text. So let's do that again. Let me play this again so you can see how the text is working perfectly. So you can see that it's just coming in smoothly and very nice, unlike before. Let's add an animation to the end of this text. So if I click on this twice, it's going to bring up the text panel for me. All right. So this is for our in animation. Now for our out animation, let me do something a little bit. Now you can see we have so many animations here. You can click on the flutter, you can click on the spin out, whatever thing you want. So if I click on this flutter, see what it's going to do. If I click on the horizontal, so you can see that if I click on the flip, let me click on another one. If I click on the flip down, it's going to load. So you can see how it's coming up on the text, on the video rather. If I click on flipping, so you can choose whatever out animation you want. So you can see how it's going up. So I think this flipping is actually nice. So I can click on it. Remember, you can still change the timing of your animation. I can actually increase it to 1.2 seconds. You can see that I can actually reduce it to 0.4 seconds. It's going to be very fast. So our out animation doesn't have to be very much. So I can click 0.3. 0.3 is fine by me. So this is what your in and out animation will look like. So let me play it. Let me play the video from the start. So let's go back and play this. So if I should hit on the play button, see how it came in. Watch how it's going to leave. So you can see that. That's how to add animation to your text. Now you can add different animation, different depending on the one you like, just to stylize your video. So that's actually how to add animation to your text. Then the last one, let me show you what the loop actually means. Now the loop transition is a transition that combines both in and out. What do I mean by that? So if I click on this loop, you can see what it's going to do now. So remember, it's loading. Your data connection has to be on, and sometimes network can be unstable. So if I should click on this, I'm going to see what it's going to do. So okay, this one is not really. This one is not really. Let's take in another effect. So if I should click on this other one, the wobbly preset. Let's see what it's going to show. Yes, so see how your text is going to come in and see how it's going to leave. So the loop is just actually showing you how your text is going to come in and how your text is going to leave this scene. That's what the loop actually means. If I should click on flicker, this is another loop if animation. It's loading. You can see what the flicker is actually doing. So you can see. So we have different kind of loop depending on what you want to your text. So that's just basically how to add animation to your text. So you can do the in and out. You can do the loop kind of animation for your text. Then the next is the bubble. And the bubble is just actually um, a text style that you can use for your text, but most times you don't actually use it except maybe you want to do something like maybe like a talking head video. For example, a talking head video, you can click on any of this and you can see what's going to bring up. So if I click on this, you can do a talking head video and put in your text on it. So now for the bubble, you can click on any of this here the bubble effect, and you just have to type in your text. So you can type in anything you want to type in. So new beginning, new beginning rather. So if I click on it, let's see what it's going to bring up. So if I take this back and I play this, you can see that new beginning. So depending on what you're doing, if you're doing a talking head video whereby two persons are having a conversation, also you can actually stylize your text that way. Or maybe if you're doing a kind of a cartoon kind of stuff, then you can actually do that. Then for the presets, especially if you have a saved preset already, as if you've added one of the effects, maybe the in, out, or loop effects, then you can save it here as a preset that you can be using over and over again. So that's basically how to add text and everything about adding text in CapCut. So that will be all for today. In tomorrow's class, I'll be showing you how to add overlay to your videos. Now remember, if you want to export, this is very important. Now after adding your text and your videos and your transition, if you want to export your video to your gallery, because after working you have to export your video back to down to your gallery or to your videos list, whereby you can be able to watch it over and over again, because while your video is actually here, you can actually watch it from your gallery until you finish working on your video, then export. Now if you want to export, it's actually a simple process. What you have to do is, you can see this export button up here close to the 720p. So if you click on this export button, it's going to export your video down to your gallery. So let's do that so you can see. You're going to export everything from the starting to the end of your video. Okay, let me just show you how to export first of all. So if I click on the export, you're going to bring up the export menu or the export tab. You can see now your video is just exporting. You don't have to stress yourself. So you can see they say please don't close CapCut or lock your screen. So while your video is exporting, you don't have to lock your screen or exit the app. You have to remain on the app until your video finish exporting. And it's quite fast, so it's not going to waste much of your time. So once it finishes exporting, you can check in your gallery or in your videos. You're going to see the video you just finished working on. So you can see if I should play this, you can see our video is actually playing on the screen. This is the second video, and this is the third video. So you can see how it's actually showing. But once you go to your gallery, you're going to find this video in your gallery. So I'm just playing this one from here just to show you. So once you go to your gallery, you're going to find the video in your gallery. So that's basically how to add text in your video. So that will be all for today's class. See you in the next. Thank you.